blow winds and crack your cheeks. Rage, blow, you cataracts and hurricanos.
We're all hyped for Downton Abbey 3, Reunions and Revelations, the third movie in the Downton Abbey universe, which originally ran for 6 seasons from 2010 to 2015 on ITV and PBS. Downton Abbey, the grand finale, set to release later this year, will officially wrap up the story as the Crawley family and their staff face the changes of 1930s Britain and look toward the future. With the official trailer already out, anticipation is building for its September release. There's even a new interview that drops hints about how Downton 3 might end. Really hoping that's not the case. I just read Paul Giamatti's interview where he talks about the movie and teases some plot details. Apparently, Harold is back in England, staying at Downton Abbey with a bunch of American millionaires when the movie kicks off. It seems like either Harold has become Downton's creditor, or the Levinson fortune got wiped out in the '29 crash, leaving him with nowhere else to go. Paul Giamatti said he was actually surprised they asked him to return as Harold, and even more shocked that his role is so big this time, not just in the story, but in what happens to Downton in the end. He didn't reveal whether what Harold does is good or bad, but he was stunned that his character ends up being the one who decides the Grantham family's future. What I really don't want, and what Julian Fellowes just keeps doing in both Downton Abbey and now The Gilded Age, is that tired trope where the main family is broke, their income's gone, and then out of nowhere some rich relative or random side character dies and leaves them a surprise fortune. Boom, problem solved. No real stakes, no lasting consequences. I swear, I'm gonna lose my mind if we have to sit through that same old cliche again, where Harold conveniently decides to leave or will the Levinson fortune to Cora or Mary just in time to save Downton when it's on the brink of folding. From what it sounds like, the movie opens with the Depression hitting everyone hard. Tom's lost his business, and maybe some personal stuff too, and he's back at Downton with Sibby. Mary apparently ran the estate into the ground, and they're right on the edge of losing it, so she spends the whole movie hunting for investors, all just educated speculation, not actual spoilers. One thing I will say is that Mary was always pragmatic and forward-thinking about Downton. She was never just Robert in a dress, and I can't picture her running the place into the ground or suddenly becoming incapable of making smart decisions without Matthew or Tom. Violet trusted her for a reason. She knew Downton would be safe with Mary at the helm. That said, I could see the Great Depression being so overwhelming that even the most carefully managed estate would struggle to survive. I'm not totally sure how badly Britain was affected compared to the US, but it wouldn't be unrealistic for it to cause major strain. Some estates were massive and had the resources to weather almost anything. Others were so small they didn't stand a chance. And then there were those like Downton, big enough and resourceful enough to muddle through for a while, but still vulnerable to the wrong combination of bad luck and bad timing. It'll definitely be interesting to see how it plays out. From the way it sounds, if this is the end of the story, it might be because everyone has moved on to different paths. And that poster with Mary looking so alone, it really felt like a one last look around moment. Though why she's doing that in an evening gown, who knows? What I don't want is to shell out for another movie ticket only to watch Fellowes remix the same 3 storylines he's been recycling for nearly 15 years. Is it too much to ask for some actual consequences or repercussions for the characters' actions? Now, I'm not saying it needs to end on a dark note, but I want a realistic resolution, something that doesn't just tie everything up neatly with everyone conveniently getting what they want. I'm not looking for an Empire Strikes Back style cliffhanger, but more of a Return of the King vibe. Sure, the heroes succeed, but the personal cost is high enough that it's not a simple happy ending. And I am not alone. Downton Abbey producer Gareth Neame shared why the third film needed to give a full and proper conclusion to the series. Neame explained that after 6 seasons of television, they felt the story still had more to explore, which is why they made 3 feature films. But now, it's time to give the entire saga a proper send-off that ties everything together for both the characters and the fans who have followed them all these years. I was always quite optimistic about it because I felt the TV show was very cinematic and would work on the big screen, he said at the Golden Globes panel discussion, explaining that the reduced production time for a film as opposed to a series was also a factor. It was a practical way to keep Downton going, but again, we don't want to do that forever either. And we didn't want for the franchise and for Downton Abbey just to come to an end, we wanted to have proper closure. So, for fans of Downton Abbey, the grand finale is a full and proper conclusion to the stories of all of those characters, added Neum, who produced all 52 episodes of the series in addition to the trilogy of films. Neum isn't the only figure to tease aspects of the film, with actor Hugh Bonavville previously sharing details of Robert Crawley's arc as he said, "For my character, I think the usual can be expected, which is that he's sort of a dinosaur trying to be led into the future reluctantly. Robert is finally accepting that things are changing. It's time to move the story on, so to speak. It's got the usual tropes, if you like, of thrills and spills in a very Downton way, which means spilling a teacup pretty much. I think there's so much warmth and fun to enjoy, and new elements as well, which I won't spoil, that I think it'll certainly be the best iteration of the film versions yet. It never ceases to amaze me. It did when it first started in 2010, and here we are, 14 years later, making a third film." Recently, Matthew Goode also explained why he's missing from Downton Abbey 3, and maybe that's for the best. After Henry Talbot skipped out on the last Downton Abbey movie, Matthew Goode has now confirmed he won't be showing up in the third one either. The Emmy-nominated actor, who played Lady Mary Crawley's love interest in the 2019 Downton Abbey film, recently shared why he was absent from Downton Abbey: A New Era and why he's not part of the upcoming installment. "I was unavailable for the second because I was doing The Offer. For the third, I was shooting Netflix's Department Q," he told Radio Times. "But I also buggered my knee, and I had to have an operation. That takes weeks to get over, so I was never going to be able to do it. And let's face it, he was edging towards becoming a bit of a wet lettuce, so maybe it's a good thing." Imelda Staunton, who played Queen Mary's lady-in-waiting Lady Maud Bagshaw in the first two Downton Abbey films, previously confirmed that a third and final movie was on the way. "There will be the final film. There you go," she said on BBC Radio 2 last March. The film was shot at Highclere Castle over the summer and is set to premiere in theaters on September 12th. After Maggie Smith, who played Violet Crawley, the Dowager Countess of Grantham, passed away at age 89 last September, executive producer Gareth Neum shared that the third film was made with huge respect for the late Oscar winner. Violet had already died in A New Era, but Neum said Maggie's real-life passing added an even deeper poignancy to the story. That's all for now. What are your thoughts on this final chapter? Drop them in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more updates on Downton Abbey and other upcoming movies and series. We'll see you next time.